Have you ever wondered how Deep Blue Sea was originally supposed to end? Before I tell you, there's a petition calling on Warner to release the original ending. Please sign it. It takes less than a minute. A link can be found in the description, or you can Google Deep Blue Sea original ending petition. Now, according to the script, this is how Deep Blue Sea was supposed to end. Contrary to popular belief, Preacher survives in the original ending too. After Susan finishes wrapping up Preacher's leg, he passes out. She walks out to Carter and takes a moment to admire how beautiful the ocean is. Then she has a deep conversation about how her intentions were to save lives and not slaughter them. The conversation ends with Carter agreeing with what she initially said about the ocean being beautiful. That's when he notices the fence is sinking. It occurs to him that the sharks used them to flood the facility, so it would sink and the sharks would be free. Susan then gives a chilling monologue about how the Gen 2 cannot escape as it would breed and take over the ocean. The monologue ends with Susan saying,
"The oceans would be theirs."
Then she says we have to kill her. Carter responds, "That's the first real smart thing you said all day." At that point, the Gen 2 starts ramming the fence. Susan and Carter leap into action. They rush over to his half-sunken boat, which he previously talked about. He grabs a harpoon gun. Then they race over to Scoggins' shed. It takes them a moment to figure out the combination to unlock the shed. Upon opening it, they grab a few flares, tranquilizer harpoons, and a battery. They climb to the top of the tower and Carter pours gunpowder from the flares into the tranquilizer harpoons. He then explains the plan, also saying he learned how to rig explosives like this in prison. Carter then runs down the catwalk, unable to get close enough to shoot the Gen 2, of course. That's when Susan famously says,
"I know how to get her."
She cuts her hand and jumps into the water. As the Gen 2 swims back for her, Carter rushes over like a track star because he has feelings for Susan. All of the scenes where they grew close were cut. Susan swims back, grabs the ladder rung, and it breaks off, but this time, Carter dives in and tells her to climb over in. She hops onto his shoulders and uses the other rungs to pull herself up. But she isn't strong enough to pull Carter up despite her best efforts. She panics because she has feelings for him as well. Carter looks back to see the shark's fin disappearing. He lets go and plummets into the water. Susan screams in terror. The shark lunges at Carter and he manages to dodge it as he did earlier in the movie and grabs its fin, riding the beast. Susan sees the shark surface with Carter clinging to its back. He screams for her to shoot it. So she leaps into action, climbs the tower, grabs the harpoon, and takes a moment as she knows she only gets one shot. She's nervous. Finally, she fires and the harpoon hits the shark but also penetrates Carter's leg. The shark rams into the fence as Carter yells at her to blow it, but she doesn't want to because she knows it will kill him. She sees the cable connected to the harpoon uncoiling at a rapid pace. Meanwhile, Carter keeps yelling at her to blow it. Then, the shark disappears underwater, but Carter reaches toward his boot. He grabs something, but the audience isn't able to see what it is. Then, the shark breaks through the fence. Susan grabs the end of the cable as it's uncoiling faster than ever. Susan starts to cry as the final coil of the cable pulls free. Knowing she has no choice, she touches the end of the cable to the battery. The shark explodes in the distance. Susan falls to her knees and begins to scream at the heavens, crying as she thinks she's killed Carter. That's when she sees Carter's head breaking the surface. She rushes over to meet him and helps pull him out of the water. Relieved, she asks how he freed himself. That's when he unveils a knife Susan gave him earlier in the film for protection. He tells her it came in handy after all. Earlier in the film, she gave him this knife for protection before he and Scoggins left for the control panels, and he mocked her over it due to its small size. Ironically, it ended up being the knife that saved his life. Many scenes like this that showed Susan in a positive light were cut from the film after the ending was changed and not released in the special features of the DVD. Carter then teases her a bit about trying to blow him up. They finally kiss as the tension between them had been growing throughout the film. Then she helps him toward a raft. they use the raft to leave Aquatica. Susan spots a bottle floating in the ocean. It's the bottle containing Preacher's tape he made earlier in the film when he thought he was going to die. Susan grabs the bottle and removes the tape, giving it to Preacher, who has regained consciousness. He starts to hum. I can see clearly now the rain is gone. Then they hear the music playing from nearby. They look and notice the boat carrying the next crew approaching, playing the song. They flag the boat down, and this is where the film ends. Thank you for watching, and again, be sure to sign the petition that is asking Warner to release the original ending. Also, check out my other videos, as I have a few containing other excerpts from the script of cutscenes that weren't included in the DVD bonus features. And I will be uploading more unseen content featured in the script over time.